Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Joe Kelley Show. It's your old pal Joe here, just checking in with you. I know it's been a while. I know it's been a minute, but we're back in business. New setting, new equipment, just the same nonsense we've always been used to. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing okay. I hope you still have money in your 401k. I hope that hasn't completely tanked out. You know, I know we're all looking forward to retirement and settling on the beach somewhere with all our 401k money, but it might not be there anymore. You might have to work forever. Maybe you just take a job at the beach. Maybe you quit relying on other people to take care of your money and start taking care of it yourself. Because I think when you opt in for a 401k, there is an option to opt out. So you could have taken that 3% out of every check that's been going into your 401k and putting it in a bucket and burying it in your yard. And maybe it would have been safer. But everybody wanted to take a chance, and maybe it's not going to pay off. Maybe it's not going to work out. But we'll get to that in a little bit. I know we haven't done this in a while. My apologies, okay? Sometimes I got to figure out my own nonsense. And that's what I've been doing, okay? I got a dog. That's what I've been doing. They go, Joe, where have you been? People have been reaching out going, where's the podcast? Did you stop doing the podcast? And it's, no, not entirely. I just stopped recording it, okay? It's been going on in my head every morning when I'm taking a shower, every evening when I'm laying in bed. Thoughts, screams, just echoing from wall to wall inside my head. That's nothing but a podcast, okay? I just haven't been recording it. Every time you go to a gas station, every time you go to a major metropolitan area and you see some man with poop on the front of his pants, how did it get on the front of his pants? Nobody knows for sure. He had to wipe somehow. And he's yelling, possibly about conspiracies. Sometimes he makes sense, but he smells so bad and he has a needle hanging from his arm, so you can't take him seriously. But that's nothing more than a podcast, ladies and gentlemen. The only difference is the people who release the podcast have equipment. If you give that man a microphone, downtown Seattle, he just left the clean injection clinic. He's a little sleepy now, but he'll be fine in a couple of hours. If you gave him a microphone, he'd have a podcast. But he doesn't have a microphone, so he is deemed undesirable to society. He's a crazy person. Nobody wants him. Nobody likes him. But all he's doing is a podcast. Okay? He's just like me. We're the same person. The only difference is I have this microphone and I'm sitting at a desk. And my poop is on the inside of my underwear, not on the front of my pants, okay? So before you judge somebody, judge yourself. That's all. We've been doing the podcast. It just hasn't been recorded. There's been other stuff going on. I'm dealing with the dog. The dog has been interesting. You know, it's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like I understand being a step parent right now. Because it wasn't my dog to begin with. I didn't technically adopt a dog, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not that good of a person. This is a rehomed dog, okay? If you adopt a dog, you're the best person there possibly is. You're a hero. But when you rehome, you're just kind of, you're okay, I guess. I don't know. It's like adopting a kid as opposed to just fucking a lady who already has a kid. And that's how I feel. Not that I'm fucking some lady and she moved in with a dog. I just was looking for a dog. And this is, okay. I don't know if you've ever rehomed a dog, but you don't go somewhere and look at the dogs first. It's not like you go to the Humane Society and you do a little window shopping for the dog. What happened is I was talking to my friend's mom, and I was like, I'm thinking about getting a dog. And what I've realized is that alcoholics are very helpful people. They're always willing to help. But sometimes it's just not good help that they offer. You know? They mean well. They're drunk and happy. but they just get you in more trouble than it's worth. So my friend's mom, she knows some people who deal with they have like a rehoming dog program. So rather than people getting rid of their dogs and sending them to the Humane Society, where they get to be around other dogs and maybe have fun for a little bit. Which, by the way, I did go to the Humane Society. Everybody who works there is just mentally ill and mean. Just a bunch of green-haired, you know what I mean? Green-haired liberals, mentally ill people, thinking they're doing good things in the world, and they're just mean and sassy for no reason. And they got all these rules for dogs, and it's like, first of all, if I want to take one of these dogs and smash it with a hammer, who cares? Nobody else wants the dog. It's gonna sit here until you kill it. What is it your business what I want to do with this dog? I have money, you have the dog, give me the dog. They make it such a hassle for you to adopt a dog that they're gonna kill within 2 weeks. You know, there should be an easier program, like need a dog, take a dog. Got a dog, leave a dog. That's what I thought the Humane Society was. But they have questions, and you got to fill out paperwork, and it's a whole thing. And it's like, you're going to kill these dogs anyway. What does it matter? I was here last week. There's 3 dogs that aren't here anymore, and I know nobody adopted them. I don't understand what their concern is. If not that I understand you want to protect the dog, and you can't be giving dogs to people who want to smash them with hammers, but they're going to go one way or another. What's it your business? You know what I mean? You make minimum wage cleaning up dog shit all day, and you want to get on me and ask me a bunch of questions and act like you're in charge of something. Just give me the damn dog, will you? They wouldn't do it. Too much of a hassle to go to the Humane Society. They got to know how much rent you're paying and who you're renting from. And frankly, that's none of their business when I'm trying to get a dog that nobody wants. You understand? None of their business. None of their business at all. When did the Humane Society become such a difficult process? I thought you showed up, you gave them some money, which you shouldn't even have to. You shouldn't even have to give them money. Oh, we have to buy dog food and stuff like that. Tough luck. You should have thought about that before you started working at the Humane Society, lady. Not my business, but I'll let it slide. I show up, I give you money, you give me the dog. We're done here. We don't need to go through the whole rigmarole. And there was one dog that I liked, but somebody had just dropped it off. So their rules for the Humane Society was, well, we can't give the dog away. We have to leave the dog here for at least 2 to 3 weeks so it can get used to nobody loving it before we can give it back to a home. That was their rules. Somebody had just dropped the dog off a day earlier, and their rule is, well, now we have to let it get used to living in a cage and being around a bunch of dogs barking before we can let it go home to somebody else where it's going to be quiet and something that it's used to. What kind of nonsense is that? You know? Anyway, the Humane Society is a joke. It's unfortunate that it is. If you get a dog from there, congratulations to you. I won't be doing business with them anytime soon. I know that. And I also won't be asking any more alcoholics for advice on where to get dogs. Because they have, outside of the Humane Society, there are other ways to get dogs that people might not necessarily want. They have rehoming programs where somebody says, I need to get rid of my dog, and they contact somebody, and they have a list of people that they know want dogs. So rather than dropping them off to the Humane Society and having them get used to living in a cage for 3 to 4 weeks, they just go from one home to the other. Very easy transition. You'd think it would be. So I get in touch with the rehoming people. They send me a picture of a dog. His name's Rocco. He's a good boy. I like him. And we said I go meet Rocco one day at Home Depot with the owner of Rocco. And we're supposed to do paperwork, but for some reason, the rehoming lady, she's like, you seem trustworthy, so we don't need to do any paperwork. And I'm like, this is perfect. This is the exact opposite of the Humane Society. And now I'm realizing that the Humane Society may need you to do paperwork so this type of shit don't happen. So I meet Rocco at Home Depot. He's a great dog, very sweet boy, very fun, very thin. I don't know what he is. He's a mutt. He's an unloved mutt. But I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll take him. Free dog. Don't even have to pay money for him. He's like, I'll just give him to you. It's like, great. Because the issue was, this guy used to work from home. Rocco was a COVID dog. They got him for the family when the family was home. And now everyone's going back to work and going to college. And dude is getting remarried or something like that. And the new wife doesn't want this old stinky dog. She's got a new dog. She ain't got room for two dogs. So he's got to get rid of him somehow. And I'm that somehow. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Story, you don't have time for the dog. I got time for the dog. I'll take the dog. It's like, okay, perfect. We'll see you in a week. And then the week goes by, don't hear nothing. 2 weeks go by, don't hear nothing. It's a month and a half later. And I'm like, well, I don't think I'm getting a dog anymore. And then he texts me out of the blue, hey, are you ready to get the dog? And I'm like, sure, that sounds fine. What was going on in this time, ladies and gentlemen, during this month and a half period is he was gearing everybody up because he didn't know how to get rid of Rocco. He wanted to get rid of him. Nobody wanted to take care of him, but they didn't want to get rid of him. You know how people are. Everyone's fucking insane. Everyone's got mental problems deeper than the fucking, what is that hole in the ocean that everybody talks about? I don't know, the fucking crest. You guys know what I'm talking about. The whatever. Everyone's got fucking problems. No one wants to take care of the dog, but they don't want to get rid of him. He tells everybody, he tells his kids he's going to get rid of the dog. They all freak out. And so he comes up with a scheme in this month and a half, right? That rather than telling everyone he's going to get rid of the dog. By the way, his kids are all of drinking age. They're all 20 and above, 21 and above, in college and shit like that. The daughter wants to keep the dog, but she lives in a studio apartment dorm with 3 other people that don't allow dogs. But no one's ever told her no, so she's got a fucking problem with it. You know what I mean? So this poor guy, he comes up with a scheme that he's just going to tell everybody that Rocco ran away. And then he's like, then no one will be mad or upset because Rocco ran away, which is something that he does. He used to do all the time. He don't do that shit with me anymore. We got him locked in. He's a good boy and he behaves now, you know, because I'm the big dog. I don't deal with no shit. You want to run away? I'll leave you out there. You know what I'm saying? So he don't run away no more. We figured that shit out quick. So he tells his family, tells his entire family. He drops Rocco. We meet at the Home Depot again. And I go pick up Rocco. And he goes home and he goes, oh, Rocco ran away. And no one's okay with that answer. You know, everyone starts looking for the dog to the point where the daughter is coming over the first night, the second night, the third night that Rocco's gone, cooking special, let me find the dog food, putting it on the porch. And the whole time, this guy, rather than just admitting to it, is just letting him do all this cockamamie behavior. He's helping look for the dog. He's joining search parties looking for the dog. They contacted a dog search and rescue group who was using drones to look for dogs, and he's out there trying to find them. Somebody called him and said they thought they saw Rocco, and he went and looked. You know what I mean? So this whole thing is just, meanwhile, Rocco's just chilling on my couch. We're going for walks in the morning, you know? He's out in the backyard chasing squirrels, relaxing. And everybody's freaking out about this whole thing. And somehow the dog rescue people find out, the dog rehoming people find out about it. And they're like, we can't let this lie continue. And everyone's texting me this whole time. Dude's texting me about how his life is spiraling out of control, and he's calling me, and, you know, he's about to move in with his new wife or his new fiance or whatever. And he goes, I don't want her to think I'm a liar. And it's like, well, you are a liar. That's exactly what you are. That's why you're in this whole situation, is because you're a liar. Instead of being a grown man and going, listen, family, listen, 20-year-old children who are adults, who have their own life and responsibilities going on. Nobody wants to take care of the dog. I found someone who's going to take care of the dog, so I'm giving him away. You know, that's all you had to do. But instead he lies and tells them that he ran away and everyone's looking for him, and they're using, you know, thousands of dollars of equipment and using other people to try and find him. And it got so bad. It was like a week and a half later. I had Rocco for a week and a half, and he was fine the whole time. We were chilling. He was trying to run away a bit. But again, nobody's ever worked with him. You could tell no one's ever worked with him. No one spent time with him. It was like, oh, he runs away all the time. It's like, he don't run away anymore. He don't even pull on the leash anymore when we're walking. We figured it out. I worked with him a little bit. Am I some dog whisperer? No. But you figure it out. You know what I mean? You watch enough, who's the dog guy? Little gay Mexican, Chinese Mexican guy. Cesaro or whatever. Caesar. You know, you watch enough Caesar, you know how to figure out dogs. Come on now, people. Who hasn't watched a little Caesar? Who can't figure out how to get a dog to not tug on the leash? But it's some weekend, a week and a half after I get this dog, he's texting me. He's like, my life is terrible right now. I really need some help. Because at this point, the dog rehoming people found out about his scheme and are like, listen, we got this Facebook group where we got everyone looking for your dog. We're going to post on there that it's a lie and the dog is okay. And that's like, he can't have that, because if everybody knows he's a liar, it's going to be somehow worse. So he's texting me, calling me, going, man, I really need that dog back because my life is terrible right now. And if I'll look like a hero. I'll look like I found the dog. And then the dog rehoming people were texting me like, if you give that dog back, that dog's going to die. And it's like, I want everyone to leave me alone. So Sunday morning, I decide I'm going to give the dog back just so everyone leaves me alone, because I'm tired of dealing with the phone calls and the text messages from people I don't know. I'm trying to chill. So dude comes up. I give Rocco back, and he's sitting in my driveway for about 30, 45 minutes on the phone with the rehoming people. And they're talking about their now Rocco's legal representation. And if he takes that dog, they're going to sue him and make his life worse than it already is. And he's yelling, fuck this and fuck you, and you don't know me. And this is all going on in my driveway. And then at some point, I'm trying to mind my business. He sends me a text and he's like, can I give Rocco back? And it's like, everyone needs to leave me alone. So he gives Rocco back. They post in the group that dude is a liar and that the dog has been fine the whole time. And now everybody hates him. And I don't know what's happened to any of those people. Because at some point, I just stopped responding to their text messages. They were like, can we get pictures of Rocco? I just didn't answer anymore. They started causing issues for my life. But I got a dog, somehow. And maybe that's why the Humane Society makes you sign papers, so you don't have to deal with some grown man who can't handle the truth and can't handle reality and can't step up to the plate and go, listen, I'm the father. I'm the man of the house. This is what we're doing. If you don't like it, be mad at me. Because either way, their kids were going to be mad. Whether you gave him away or whether he ran away. But now you have to deal with being a fucking liar. And that was the best thing. It's like, I don't want my new fiance to think, I don't want her to think she's getting into someone who's crazy and a liar. It's like, well, that's what you are, dude. That's exactly what you are. But now I got Rocco, and he's been doing great. For the most part. He's had some issues here and there. He's still crazy. I think he's a feral dog that they got him from the Humane Society. I'm pretty sure he was just some stray that somebody found, took him to the Humane Society. And then it's like, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife, and Rocco's a bit of a hoe. But, he can act like a lady sometimes too. He can be a little housewife-y type sort of thing. But anyway, that's why I haven't been doing the podcast, I guess. Been getting this fucking dog, this whole dog squared away. People are everyone just seems retarded. I don't know what it is. And I know that word is not, it's coming back ever since the big Trump dog is taken over, We could say retarded again a little bit. And I'm not insulting mentally defective people when I say that. And I think you guys know that. And maybe I'm a little retarded too. Maybe we all are. But it's just, I don't know if it's the computers or the TV or the food we eat or what is going on, but everyone is just fucking retarded. Everyone is wondering how we got into this situation and why the world is the way it is and why, we have a crumbling foundation here in America. And it's like, maybe because everyone's kind of fucking retarded. Did you ever think about that? Did you ever think that maybe everybody's a little bit retarded? And that's why things are so bad. It doesn't have to do with some outside source. It doesn't have to do with tariffs or whatever it is, That's not what's making life hard. The price of eggs isn't what is making life hard. It's not fun. It's not easy to deal with, but everyone's kind of retarded. And I think that's the bigger issue that we're not realizing, people, is that everybody's just a little bit kind of retarded and we don't care. And everyone's kind of a narcissist and lying about giving away dogs so they can look like a good person and look like a hero. And they go, I don't know why things are the way they are. It's like, I bet I know. I bet I can tell you. But anyway, speaking of being kind of retarded, that stock market, whoo-wee. How you feel about the stock market, people? You still got a 401k or are you broke yet? Do you not have any money at all? It's okay. Money, it's going to come and go either way. And I was like, that was my retirement money. It's like, well, that was never going to happen. That was never going to happen. You're never going to be able to retire, people. I hate to break it to you. Unless you really figure it out. Unless you really get some real money in your life. Showing up to work every day for 30, 40 years or whatever it is for, I don't know, anywhere between 40 and 50 grand a year and expecting there to be a retirement fund when you get done ain't going to happen. It was a great idea in the 50s and the 60s when it actually worked, but it don't work no more. It's not a real thing. Get over it. Someone's coming for it either way, and it ain't going to be you. I know you're expecting to, work a job, work your fingers to the bone in Duluth, Minnesota for 35, 40 years. And you go, when I'm done doing that, I'm going to take my money and buy a nice beach house in Florida and live the rest of my life and be happy. Well, guess what? Your money ain't going to be there. And even if it is, there ain't going to be no beach houses there for you. Okay? They're not going to be affordable. It's the beach. Remember when everyone talked about the sea levels rising and, you shouldn't be buying a house on the coast? And then all the rich people bought up all the properties on the coast? It almost seems like it was a big scam, don't it? It almost seems like they were feeding you a bunch of bullshit So you didn't buy a house down there, so they got everything real cheap and bought it all up. But you're not going to buy your beach house. I hate to break it to you, unless you get a lot of money. Unless you take a chance. Take that 401k, put it all on black and see what happens. If it hits a couple of times, then you can buy your beach house. But if you're trying to take your 401k and think anything good's going to come from it, it's not. And it's okay. The people who are the most concerned about the stock market are the people with no money, is what I've noticed. People who got no investments, no money, barely are able to survive every year, seem to be the most concerned about what's going on with the stock market. And really, it's like 85% of the stock market is owned by whatever it is, the top 1% of people. So 99% of people are worried about 15% of the stock market. Fucking go outside. Quit bitching. Who cares? It's fun. It's a gamble. It's not real anyway. It never was real. It's not like it's somewhere you can go and actually look at. And it's a game that rich people play with your money. That's all it is. Do you understand? It's been artificially inflated for years. And everyone's like, oh my God, it went down a little bit. Who cares? Everyone just wants to complain. We know why they're complaining. Because they don't like the big Trump dog. That's what it is. Because anything he does, they got to hate on him for some reason. And now, it's been so long we could never even talk about Elon Musk being an anti-Semite Nazi. Yeah. What in the world? What in the world is going on now? The good news is if you are an anti-Semite Nazi, you can wave your flag now. You just don't be proud of it. You go, oh man, I'm not happy about this swastika being carved into my forehead, but somebody did it to me, I guess. I just like, you can drive around with a swastika now. As long as you have a Tesla, you can just do it. And you go, damn, man, someone carved it in there. I don't know how, and I don't know why I decided to go over it with some pinstripes and give it a little, try to give it a little shine to it. But everyone's lost their goddamn mind for some reason. And none of it's real. And none of it really matters anymore. And I think people are starting to confuse being funny with being anti-Semitic. There's a fine line between the two. I'll admit it. There's a fine line between the two. But I think people are starting to kind of confuse being funny with being anti-Semitic. Or just being, I don't know, maybe truthful and honest. How about that? And it just takes all the meaning out of the word Nazi and anti-Semite anyway. When you call everybody something, it's like racism. It's like, anytime someone comes out, anytime there's any news about someone being racist or someone being a Nazi or someone being an anti-Semite, I just immediately don't believe it. Because it's like the boy who cried wolf. You've said everything is racist and Nazi and anti-Semite, that none of it is. Remember when there was the big Nazi rally with old Tony Hinchcliffe and everything? Man, oh man, those were good times. And I like how nobody did anything about it. If it was such a problem and there was so much hate there, maybe somebody should have tried to stop it or whatever it is. I don't know. Everyone's kind of retarded. Again, it just comes down to that. Everyone's just kind of retarded. Speaking of kind of retarded, how about them lady astronauts, huh? How about Katy Perry being the first woman astronaut in the history of the world? Seems right to me, I don't know any other ladies who have been to space other than Katy Perry now, ladies and gentlemen. They went up to space for 11 minutes, and that's more than most people have done with their life. And let's be honest. The ladies going to space, it was It was an advertisement. That's what they were doing. They were trying to sell the 11-minute space flight to people who already have their beach house in Florida, you know, who invested in good stocks and weren't worried about the 401ks and got a little spending money. So they want to go into orbit, you know? That's all it was. 5 ladies in space. And it's, you know, it's the first 5 women who have ever been astronauts. And I think that's great. Gayle King, right? She's one of them. Wasn't that Oprah's lesbian lover or something like that? Isn't that who Gayle King is? I don't remember any of the other ones. Katy Perry was the main one. Coming out, kissing the floor. We got the video of it. We'll play the video of her talking about how great it was to be in space.
It is the highest high, and it is surrender to the unknown,
yes,
trust, and this whole journey is not just about going to space. It's the training. It's the team. About? It's the whole thing. I couldn't recommend this experience more. This is like up.
See, there it is right there. I couldn't recommend this experience more. It's an advertisement. That's all it is. It's more than just going to space. It's a journey. It's everything. I couldn't recommend this experience more. How much do you think she got paid to go up in space? How many? Money. How many dollars? With her Ozempic face. Let's continue.
There with all the, different tools that I've learned in my life, from meditation to the Hoffman process. This is up there because
the tools she's learned all throughout her life, which had been what? They led her up to this point where she could go to space. All the tools she's learned. Katy Perry, been famous for doing nothing, having fat tits. That's what she's been famous for. And that one Dark Horse song, that was pretty good. But that was all because Juicy J let the beat drop. Great tits, though. We'll say that about Katy Perry. Fantastic tits.
What you're doing is you're like really finding the love for yourself, because you got to trust in yourself on this journey. And then you're feeling the love when you come down, for sure. And you're feeling that strength. So I feel really connected to that strong, divine feminine right now.
By the way, you're such a badass. I love that the month of April, you're like, I'm going to space and I'm launching my tour.
First woman to ever go to space. Can anybody name the first woman who went to space? I know there was a dog who went to space. I think it was October 25th sometime, maybe in the 70s or something like that. Can you name the first woman who's been to space? I can't. I can name the first man who pretended to go to space. Ha ha, Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong. How did you get the camera outside of the space shuttle first there, Buzz? How'd you do that? How'd you get a camera on the moon on a tripod before you even showed up? If you were the first man on the moon, how was there a camera with a tripod getting ready to take a picture with you? Tell me that. You filmed it somewhere. It's all fake, people. It's all fake. Elon Musk is a Nazi for going to space, but Katy Perry is a great woman. Who were the people that got stuck up in space and were fucking rescued? Does anybody remember their names? No, but Katy Perry was up there for 11 minutes and learned so much. And by the way, there is another video. I'll try and include it in this podcast and find it somewhere, where they're waiting for the photo op to open the door so all the ladies can come out, and somebody opens the door from the inside when they weren't ready. So somebody has to shut the door so they can do it properly. It's all fake. Just like the stock market, space travel for women is fake. But thank God you got great tits still. This outfit doesn't do them any justice, so I'll say that. I'd probably be more supportive if, they did some bikini space travel or something like that. But imagine you can spend $150,000 and go to space now. Won't that be neat? Put all this behind you for 11 minutes, Go out there into space and forget about the stock market, forget about tariffs, forget about everything. Anti-Semites, Nazis. Forget about it all. Forget about your family. Fuck them. Just, become one with the divine feminine. And it's all about, you going up with Gayle King, too. You can ask her what pussy tastes like. I don't know. Was she married to Rodney King, Larry King? Who the fuck is that lady? And who were the other three? I bet you one of them would have been Ellen DeGeneres if she wasn't such an unscathing bitch. I bet if this would have happened 4 or 5 years ago, they would have put Ellen DeGeneres up there. And she'd be like, look, I'm the first lesbian in space. It's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Every woman who's ever been into space is a lesbian. You don't work for NASA as a woman and not munch some bush. You know what I mean? Even if you don't do it full time, you experimented at some point. By the way, no one likes to mention that NASA was started by the Nazis. No one wants to mention that we smuggled them. They were like, where can we go? Well, nobody will notice it. Project Paperclip, people, look it up. We smuggled the good Nazi scientists over because there were some good ones, according to the U.S. government. So when they want to talk about Nazis being bad, it's like, not all of them. We found some good ones. Vonner, Braun, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. The Braun guy. Not Le Braun. Fucking Nazi Braun. But they were like, where can we go and start a space program where nobody will catch us using the Nazis? Huntsville, Alabama. That's where they went. That's where they took the Nazis to start the space program. So when you talk about Nazis being bad and wanting to punch them in the face, it's like, not all of them, okay? Not all of them. We even admitted there were some good ones, or at least some useful ones. Katy Perry is a Nazi. How about that? She went up into space using a fucking JetBlue or whatever it is, Blue Origin. Jeff Bezos. If we all pool our money together, one of us can go up into space. And won't that be neat? Won't that be neat to just take a break from it all? Realize there's more to life than Chipotle. God, it's good though. The portions are terrible. When did the portions get so bad at Chipotle? By the way, why are you paying $9 for a bowl of rice and beans anyway? You can buy a 50-pound bag of rice for $10. It takes no time to make. Oh, but the chicken is seasoned so good. No, it's not. It's not good. It's terrible. Go see a real Mexican. Nobody wants to do that because it's too spicy. They can't handle it. So they go to Chipotle. They go to the watered-down Chipotle. And that's the end of your city. Once a Chipotle comes, you know you're in trouble. Because that's when the bougie whites are going to be there. Starbucks and Chipotle. And you imagine why everybody has fucking dietary issues when they're just drinking Starbucks and eating burritos all day. Burrito bowls because it's healthier. Fucking everyone's out of their goddamn minds. But anyway, hey, that'll do it for the Joe Kelley Show today, everybody. I hope we had a little bit of fun. We'll do this more often. We'll try and show more videos. Perhaps I'll get in the swing of things once again. But thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. And take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. And as always, I'll catch you around real soon. Later, everybody.